Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're into numismatics or just someone who's curious about the value of your spare change, today's video is for you. We're going to dive into the world of the 1952 Lincoln penny, a coin you might have in your collection or even in your pocket right now. But the real question is your 1952 penny worth a lot of money? Stick around, because you might be surprised by what you could have on your hands. Scene, close-up view of the 1952 Lincoln penny, showing both the obverse and reverse sides. First things first, let's take a look at the 1952 Lincoln penny in general. The 1952 Lincoln penny was part of the ongoing series that has featured Abraham Lincoln since 1909. And it's a coin many collectors are interested in for several reasons. Most importantly, it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, denoted by the AS mint mark. Cut to a graphic showing the Lincoln Memorial and the front profile of Abraham Lincoln on the coin. On the obverse of the coin, you'll see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. On the reverse side, we have the Lincoln Memorial, a design that graced the back of pennies from 1959 until 2008. Scene, a close-up of the S mint mark beneath Lincoln's chin. Now, the S mint mark is crucial. The U.S. Mint operates several facilities across the country of Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1952 penny was minted in San Francisco, which makes it somewhat special compared to pennies minted in Philadelphia or Denver. While this particular year isn't as rare as some of the more famous key date coins, there are factors that can make a 1952 penny worth much more than its face value. $5 million rarest coins. Scene, a table full of different 1952 pennies with magnifying glasses, showing the process of identifying condition and errors. So, what makes the 1952 Lincoln penny stand out in terms of value? Like with any collectible coin, the value depends on several key factors: the condition, any minting errors, and the demand from collectors. Scene, a coin being carefully inspected with a magnifying glass to check for wear and tear. Let's start with the condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no signs of wear. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. A 1952 penny in poor condition might only be worth a few cents, but a high-grade example can fetch a much higher price. Cut to a graphic showing the grading scale, highlighting examples of a worn coin and a mint condition coin. Rarest coins. A 1952 penny in good condition might be worth around $1 to $2, but if your coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, it could easily be worth $10 to $50, or even more, depending on the market. Cut to a magnified view of a high-grade 1952 penny. If you come across a 1952 penny that looks almost brand new, with sharp details and no noticeable wear, you might have a valuable coin on your hands. Scene, zoom in on different 1952 pennies with potential minting errors, showing clear imperfections. Next, let's talk about mint errors. These are the types of flaws that happen when a coin is struck improperly, and they can significantly increase the value of coin. Even though mint errors are rare, they can sometimes be the key to finding a valuable 1952 penny. Cut to different types of mint errors like double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks. Rarest coins. Some common mint errors to look for on a 1952 penny include the double die obverse and off-center strikes. A double die occurs when the design is struck twice, leading to a doubling effect on the letters and images on the coin. This is one of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting. Cut to a magnified view of a 1952 penny showing a possible double die error. If you find a 1952 penny with a noticeable doubling effect on the word liberty or in God we trust, you could be looking at a much more valuable coin, worth anywhere from $50 to several $100, depending on the severity of the doubling. Scene, a 1952 penny showing a slight off-center strike. Another error to look for is the offset. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're into coins, You're definitely going to want to stick around for this one, because today we're talking about a 1968 Lincoln penny, and let me tell you, this little penny might just be worth a lot more than you think. While many people pass by pennies every day without giving them a second glance, the 1968 Lincoln penny has some very interesting qualities that could make it a hidden treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, what makes this coin special? Well, let's get into it. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1968 penny, let's take a quick trip through the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first issued to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic and beloved coins in U.S. history. The original reverse of the penny featured 2 stalks of wheat, which led to the nickname wheat pennies. However, in 1959, the design changed to the famous Lincoln Memorial, which we see on the back of the 1968 penny. This change marked a new era for the coin, and the Lincoln Memorial would remain the design on the reverse side until 2008. Cut to a brief historical timeline of the Lincoln penny designs, from wheat back to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Rarest coins by 1968. The penny was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, and that's important because the penny's composition before 1982 would make a difference in how valuable certain coins could be. While the 1968 penny wasn't exactly rare or special when it was minted, the way it was produced and the potential errors it could have makes it something worth looking for if you're a collector. So, what makes the 1968 penny worth more than just 1 cent? Well, it's a combination of factors that involve mint errors, rarity, and condition. The 1968 penny wasn't necessarily a special coin at the time it was struck, but over the years, a few key factors have contributed to its value today. Cut to a close-up shot of a 1968 penny on a rotating display. First, let's talk about the errors. Coin errors are one of the biggest reasons why a seemingly ordinary coin can suddenly become extremely valuable. Over the years, there have been a number of different errors with the 1968 penny, some of which can dramatically increase its value. And if you're lucky enough to find one of those rare errors, it could mean big money in your pocket. Now, let's take a look at the errors and variations that could make your 1968 Lincoln penny worth a lot more than its face value. Pay close attention to these key types of minting errors that could add some serious value. $3 million rarest coins. 1. Double die obverse, DDO. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, or DDO. This happens when the coin's die was improperly aligned during the striking process, causing the design to be struck twice. As a result, parts of the lettering, such as Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date itself, will appear doubled. If you find a 1968 DDO penny, it could be worth anywhere from $50 to $200, depending on the severity of the doubling and the condition of the coin. Cut to a magnified view of a DDO penny, showing the doubling in the word Liberty. Take a close look at Liberty and the date on the coin. If you see clear doubling, that's your clue that you might have a double die obverse. These coins can be worth a pretty penny, so be on the lookout. 2. Off-center strikes. Another error that makes the 1968 penny unique is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank plankett isn't aligned properly in the minting press, causing part of the design to be cut off or misaligned. The 1968 off-center penny is rare, and its value depends on how extreme the misalignment is. An off-center 1968 penny could be worth anywhere from $20 to $100, with extreme cases fetching even more. 3. Repunched mint mark, RPM. Another type of error to keep an eye out for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. The mint mark is the small letter on the coin that shows where it was struck. A D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. Sometimes, the mint mark is struck more than once, causing it to appear repunched. A repunch. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a fan of coins, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, so you never miss another awesome coin hunt. Rarest coins. Today, we're talking about a coin that might be hiding in your change right now, The 1966 Lincoln penny. At first glance, you might think it's just another penny, but trust me, this coin could be worth a lot more than 1 cent to possibly even hundreds or thousands of dollars. That's right, some of these 1966 pennies are rare and valuable, especially if you know what to look for. So, let's dive in and see what makes this coin so special. The camera zooms in on a 1966 Lincoln penny as the host picks it up and holds it up to the camera. $4 million rarest coins. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1966 Lincoln penny, let's talk a little bit about the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909. When it was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Designed by artist Victor David Brenner, the penny has gone through a few design changes over the years, but the iconic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse has stayed the same. Cut to a quick montage showing the different designs of the Lincoln penny over the years, from the wheatback reverse to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. In 1959, the reverse of the coin changed from the famous Sweet Ears design to the Lincoln Memorial design, which is what we see on the 1966 penny. This design would continue until 2008 when it was replaced with the Union Shield reverse. But today, we're focusing on the 1966 penny, which is particularly interesting for a couple of reasons. So, why is the 1966 Lincoln penny worth a lot of money? Well, there are a few factors that make this coin stand out. Let's start with the composition and minting process. In 1966, the penny was made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition would continue until 1982, when the penny's metal content was switched to a copper-plated zinc core. The 1966 penny, being made of mostly copper, is heavier and more valuable when compared to the modern zinc pennies. But that's not the only reason it can be valuable. Let's look at the potential errors and variations that can make this coin a real collector's item. Rarest coins. Okay, let's get into the errors and variations that can make your 1966 penny worth a lot of money. Like most coins, the 1966 penny was struck by a dice that occasionally malfunctioned, resulting in some really cool errors. Here are the most valuable and collectible errors to watch out for. 1. Double die obverse, DDO. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, or DDO. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, causing the design to be struck multiple times. As a result, parts of the image such as the date or liberty appear doubled. The 1966 penny is known to have a double die obverse variety, which can increase its value significantly. If you find one of these double die obverse 1966 pennies, it could be worth anywhere from $50 to $200, or even more in top condition. 2. Off-center strikes. Another minting error to look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned in the minting press, resulting in part of the design being cut off. Off-center strikes can range from a slight misalignment to a major shift where part of the coin's design is completely missing. An off-center 1966 penny could be worth anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on how extreme the misalignment is. 3. Repunched mint mark, RPM. Mint marks are the small letters on the coin that indicate where it was struck. Sometimes, the mint mark gets repunched, meaning it's stamped more than once, causing a double or misaligned mint mark to appear. If you come across a 1966 penny with the repunched mint mark, RPM, it can be worth anywhere from $20 to $50, depending on how clearly the repunch is visible. 4. Die cracks and die breaks. Sometimes, a die will crack or break during the minting process. This can leave an impression of the crack or break on the coin. These die cracks and die breaks can be found on the 1966 penny, and while they're not as valuable as some of the other errors, they can still add some extra value, usually in the range of $10 to $50. 5. Full steps variety, FS 801. Another important variety to note is the full steps designation. This refers, welcome back to the channel, Rarest coins. If you're a fan of coins or just like to keep an eye out for hidden treasures, then you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that you might not think is worth much at first glance, but it could be hiding some serious value. The 1970 Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this little penny, minted in Denver, could be worth a lot more than 1 cent to maybe even hundreds of dollars. So, if you've got a 1970 penny hanging around, you'll definitely want to stick around to see how much it could actually be worth. Let's get into it. Cut to a close-up of the 1970 Lincoln penny as the host picks it up and holds it in front of the camera. Rarest coins. Before we get onto why the 1970 Lincoln penny could be worth a lot of money, let's talk a little about the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and ever since, it's been one of the most iconic coins in U.S. currency. The original design by Victor David Brenner showed Lincoln in profile on the obverse, and the reverse originally featured 2 stalks of wheat, hence the nickname wheat pennies. In 1959, the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, and this is the design that appears on the 1970 pennies, including the 1970. This design change marked a new era for the Lincoln penny, and it would continue until 2008, when the reverse was updated to the Union Shield design. Rarest coins. But, by the time 1970 rolled around, there were some interesting things happening at the U.S. Mint that would make certain 1970 pennies, especially the 1970, to stand out. Rarest coins. So, what makes the 1970 penny so special? For most people, a regular 1970 penny wouldn't seem like anything to write home about. After all, it was struck over 50 years ago and is still made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, which means it's pretty standard in terms of composition. But it's not the composition or the design that makes this coin worth big money. There are some minting errors and rarities that can make this coin extremely valuable. The real value in the 1970 penny comes from the 1970 small date variety, along with some error coins that were accidentally produced. If you've ever heard about coin errors making certain coins worth a lot more than their face value, then the 1970 penny is a perfect example of this phenomenon. Let's break down exactly what these errors are, and why they can make your 1970 penny worth more than just 1 cent. Alright, let's talk about the errors and variations that can turn a standard 1970 penny into a rare, valuable coin. Here are the top things to watch out for. 1. 1970 small date. One of the most valuable variations of the 1970 penny is the small date variety. If you look closely at the date on the coin, you'll notice that in some 1970 pennies, the 7 and A0 in the date appear smaller than usual. This is because there were actually 2 different dies used to mint the 1970 penny, a large date die and a small date die. The 1970 small date is the rarer of the 2, and it is highly sought after by collectors. Finding a small date 1970 penny in excellent condition can be worth anywhere from $10 to $50 in circulated condition. In uncirculated condition, it could easily go for $100 or more. Cut to a magnified shot of a 1970 penny, comparing the small date to the large date version. To spot the small date, take a magnifying glass and closely examine the number A7 and A0 in the date. The small date version will have these digits appear thinner and slightly different compared to the larger date version, where the digits are more spaced out and thicker. 2. Double die obverse, DDO. Another error that can significantly increase the value of the 1970 penny is the double die obverse, DDO. This happens when the coin's die is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck twice, resulting in a doubled appearance on the lettering and numbers. In the case of the 1970 penny, the doubling is most noticeable on the Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions on the obverse. If you find a DDO 1970 penny, you could see values range anywhere from $50 to $500, depending on how strong the doubling is and the condition of the coin. Cut to close-up shots of the DDO 1970 penny, highlighting the double letters in Liberty and In God We. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're a collector, or just someone who has a jar of old pennies lying around, today's video is a must-watch. We're diving into the world of the 1979 Lincoln penny and uncovering why it could be worth more than you think. You might just be sitting on a hidden treasure. Let's get started. Scene: a jar of pennies being poured onto a table. Most people think of pennies as just pocket change, something insignificant and easy to toss aside. But if you're a coin collector, you know there's often more value than meets the eye. Coins can have historical significance, rare minting errors, or simply be a part of limited production runs. Cut to a close-up of a typical Lincoln penny. Today, we're focusing on a specific year in 1979. A lot of people overlook this penny, but it might surprise you how valuable it can be. In fact, there are some 1979 pennies worth thousands of dollars. Stick around, and we'll show you exactly how to spot a rare 1979 penny that could bring you a small fortune. $1 million rarest coins. Scene: a 1979 Lincoln penny being placed next to a regular penny from a different year for comparison. So, why the 1979 penny? Well, let's break it down. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced over 4 billion pennies. With that many made, how could a single penny become so valuable? It all comes down to two key factors: mint errors and the condition of the coin. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start with the basics. Cut to a close-up of the front and back of the coin. The 1979 penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor D. Brenner. The reverse side shows the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used on pennies from 1959 to 2008. Rarest coins. Scene: a zoom-in of a magnified view of a 1979 penny, highlighting different imperfections. One of the biggest reasons a 1979 penny might be worth more than its face value is due to minting errors. These errors happened when the coin doesn't get struck correctly during production. There are several types of errors to look out for, and some can significantly increase the value of your penny. Cut to examples of mint errors: off-center strikes, double strikes, and overprints. Let's take a closer look at some of the most valuable mint errors that have been found on 1979 pennies. Scene: split screen showing two examples of the 1979 penny with mint errors. First up is the 1979 double die obverse penny. This is one of the most famous and valuable errors. In these coins, the image of Abraham Lincoln and the inscription Liberty appear to be doubled. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has misaligned images, resulting in a double impression. The double die error is particularly rare, and one of those pennies can fetch anywhere from $100 to $1,000 or even more, depending on the condition. Scene: a magnified view of a 1979 penny with the double die error. Rarest coins. Look for the distinct doubling on the lettering and Lincoln's portrait. If you spot one, get it, appraise it, or you might have a true gem on your hands. Cut to another example. Next, we have the 1979 off-center strike penny. This happens when the coin is struck incorrectly and is misaligned, resulting in part of the coin's design being off-center. While these aren't as valuable as double die pennies, they can still be worth anywhere from $20 to $200, depending on how far off-center the design is. Rarest coins. Scene: a professional coin grading process, showing the careful inspection of a penny. Now, let's talk about the condition of your penny. Even if your 1979 penny doesn't have a minting error, it can still be worth more than face value if it's in excellent condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. With 70 being a perfect coin. Cut to a graphic showing the different coin grades, from poor to mint state. If your 1979 penny is in mint state, meaning it has no noticeable wear, scratches, or discoloration, it could be worth much more than the average penny. Pennies in mint condition from 1979 can go for upwards of $10 to $50, depending on the market demand. Welcome back to the Rarest Coins. Today, we're talking about a penny that you might have in your pocket right now, the 2000 Lincoln penny. But hold on before you dismiss it as just another piece of pocket change. you might want to think twice. Some 2,000 pennies could be worth far more than their face value. So, stick with us as we uncover why this coin could be hiding a fortune. Scene, the title screen pops up. Is your 2,000 Lincoln penny worth a lot of money? Scene, a 2,000 Lincoln penny is shown from multiple angles, a front and back. Rarest coins first. Let's go over the basics. The 2,000 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running series that has featured President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse since 1909. This year, however, is a bit different. There are some rare and valuable versions of the 2,000 penny that collectors are actively searching for. Cut to a close-up shot of Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. As you can see, the 2,000 penny follows the classic design, with Lincoln's portrait on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. However, it's the variations and possible errors in these pennies that can make them worth far more than a single cent. Scene, a table laid out with various 2,000 pennies, highlighting some that appear worn, some shiny, and others that are displayed under a magnifying glass. So, what makes the 2,000 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting? As with any coin, its value depends on a few key factors: the condition, any minting errors, and the rarity of the coin. Let's break each of these down to see what could make a 2,000 penny worth far more than just 1 cent. Rarest coins. Scene, a person carefully inspecting a 2,000 penny under a magnifying glass. Let's start with condition. The general rule in coin collecting is that the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. With 70 being a perfect coin. A 2,000 penny that's been in circulation for years is likely to have some wear, but if your penny looks almost brand new, then you might have something valuable. Cut to a graphic showing the difference between a worn penny and a mint condition penny. If your 2,000 penny is in uncirculated condition with sharp details and no visible signs of wear, it could be worth a lot more than its face value. In fact, pennies in mint condition are often worth $1 to $5, and sometimes more, depending on demand and specific factors. Scene, a zoom-in shot of a magnified 2,000 Lincoln penny showing possible mint errors. Next, let's talk about minting errors. These errors are mistakes made during the minting process, and they can make certain 2,000 pennies worth significantly more than their face value. Some of these errors are incredibly rare, and coin collectors are always on the lookout for them. Cut to examples of different minting errors like off-center strikes, double strikes, and die cracks. One of the most valuable types of minting errors you can find on a 2,000 penny is the double die obverse. This happens when the die used to strike the penny shifts, resulting in a doubled image on the coin. If you look closely at the word Liberty or the date on the obverse, you might notice the doubling effect. These are highly sought after and can be worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars depending on the severity of the error. Scene, close-up shot of a 2,000 penny with a visible double die error on the word Liberty. If you find a 2,000 penny with the noticeable doubling effect, you could be looking at a true gem worth anywhere from $100 to $1,000, or more. Rarest coins. Scene, a 2,000 penny with an off-center strike is shown. Another valuable minting error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing from one side. While not as valuable as a double die, an off-center 2,000 penny can still be worth anywhere from $20 to $200, depending on how much of the design is missing. Scene, a 2,000 penny with the die crack near Lincoln's neck. Some 2,000 pennies also have die cracks, which are caused by cracks forming on